Hey, what's up? It's Rashad. Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5, The Return of the Mandalorian. And of course, we're talking about the one and only Din Djarin. And good episode. Really good episode. All spoilers. Want to get right into it. Subscribe to the channel. With this episode, we're basically catching up and seeing what he's been up to, where his mind is, like how he's doing. And interestingly enough, Mando is trying to basically find his home. And when he goes home, home isn't like it was before, and now he has to go back to where his essentially his new home is. And a lot of visual references to things this episode. First scene, we have him in some sort of like slaughter cold meat locker get up with a bunch of Clatoonians, and he's there walking through, goes to the back. The boss there has a bounty on his head, so he's trying to collect that money. They're not really trying to comply. He ends up crushing everybody, even breaks out the dark saber and beheads the dude who actually had the bounty. Because he says his line, I can take you in hot, I mean warm, I can take you in cold. And he actually took somebody in cold this time. And it was crazy. He even like since he doesn't know how to use the dark saber like talking about, he cut his own leg and you see him hobbling through for the first, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Ends up not collecting on the bounty, goes to some random second visual cue. He goes to some random, like, almost like circle looking colony. It looks like the after colonies in Mobile Suit Gundam. So if you ever watch Gundam Wing or any of the Gundam series, it kind of looked like that. So he goes there to find some information and gives the person information. I mean, I'm sorry, the head of the boss. He doesn't collect on a bouncy through the guild because he had the guild puck and all that stuff, but scratch that. He gives the head to the person. They give him the information on where to go. It's on the same little after colony. Goes down there, and it's the forger, and it's also dude Vizsla, who was with him back on Tatooine. Only two of them left, and they're trying to rebuild their ranks. And of course, they're like the zealots of Mandalore because they're very strict and rigid to the way. And Din has lived some life outside of that little basically cult, and he's starting to see things differently. So she's starting to train him. Oh yeah, the spear melts it down. He might make Grogu a little Mandalorian suit, which would be like the thing of cute legend. And I'm not sure if he's gonna get at the end though because how he left. Also, the forger is trying to tell him how to use the actual dark saber and how to maneuver and handle it because he's not really doing a really good job. Because the way it works, the mechanics that they use for this is if you fight against it, it's just gonna get heavy and heavy and heavier. You gotta basically fight your opponent. Kind of harkening back to when Sabine Wren was using it, and she had to have um, your boy from I must do his name, but she had to be trained from a Jedi on how to use the actual dark saber. So it's cool that he just wasn't like elite sword wielder day one. But other visual, oh yeah, they have a whole montage of Mandalore and the siege and the night of 10,000 cries or tears or whatever, like showing Mandalore just being decimated and getting the TV audience caught up on the Mandalorian lore. Almost forgot. This scene right here is definitely Terminator 2. Like it's definitively a Terminator reference. The other visitors there, so he's like, yo, like you don't even deserve to have that. Like my house had that the dark saber, and I want to take it back. They end up getting into a like a little duel, which is another, of course, reference Star Wars duel on a platform, which is very much a visual reference for Star Wars. So he do that. They end up fighting. Um, ends up winning. At the end of that, Forger is like, "Have you ever taken your helmet off?" Vizsla was like, "Nah." Had anybody taken your helmet off for you? No. This is the way. Gets the den. Pregnant pause. And then he says like, "Yeah, I have." And she was like, "Well, you ain't a Mandalorian no more, buddy. You gonna get on out of here." And he leaves and goes back to Tatooine. He gets on a commercial flight, which is funny because he doesn't have a Razor Crest anymore, so he can't fly out. Gets on a commercial flight. He has to take all his weapons off. You know what I'm saying, and check them in. So gets to Tatooine, ends up with Molly Pellet. Oh my God, I forgot her name. Little crazy lady that fixes stuff, and she has a special plane for him. It's an N1 fighter, one of those like from the first movie with people from Naboo. They had like those silver and like gold like sleek plane. Has one of those. So another reference to movies. There's a fix the vehicle scene. So they're fixing the plane, goes through it, ends up completing it, takes off on his maiden voyage, ends up going through Beggar's Canyon, and goes off world and passes by the same cruiser that he flew in on like super fast. Gets stopped by two rangers, and one of the rangers is one of the rangers from the book of from the Mandalorian, and questions him. He kind of recognizes his voice because he's had like several instances with him. So essentially, Mando just like has nothing registered, like very bureaucratic, like you getting pulled over by a cop or something. They're like, "Man, what's your registration?" and all that stuff. So it was funny. He ends up just ghosting them and dips on them. And dude was like, "No, I'm not about to report that in." And goes back to the shop. Fennec Shand pops up. Was like, "Yo, here's some money. We need some muscle." And he was like, "What is for Boba?" And she was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Nah, this on the house. I got y'all." And he was like, "Well, I can do it, but first I gotta go see a little friend." So I really wonder if he ended up snatching that armor before he left so we could see Grogu in a Mandalorian outfit. That would be crazy. But yeah, that was the episode. It was really good. Like even though we didn't see anything from Boba, we didn't move the story forward or none of that. I still enjoyed this episode. It was good seeing Pedro Pascal, revisit the Din Djarin character, and it was good. It was good hearing the music and the whole nine. So I was definitely happy. I will be glad. Last two episodes, I mean, based off of this episode, the last two episodes are gonna be fire. Like I can't wait. But that's all I got for this. Anything that you guys saw I didn't see or didn't talk about, type in the comments below. Again, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the TikTok, at Hanging with the Joneses, Instagram too, at Hanging with _the Joneses, and we will see you next week.